much more sophisticated than most people realize. Many people new to wine who are mostly viewing wine as a luxury product and affordable sophistication. But there's also a strong group of very smart, sophisticated, knowledgeable wine collectors. And I think it's important to reach those people as well as reach everyday casual drinkers in China. It's important to remember that relationships truly matter in Asia. It's not so much what's in the contract, but what kind of relationship you've built with your supplier. So we have an expression: first, I meet you; second, I see you; and third, I know you. So I think it's really important for producers to anticipate going to the market about 3 times before they really see some success. And one thing that I can assure you, when people in China say they will do something, they get it done, they do it. Those of us who live in Asia prefer the word Asia. We don't use the word the Orient. It seems very old-fashioned to us. And even more old-fashioned, the Far East. I'm sure if you live in Italy, you wouldn't want us calling you the Far West. And then China itself, we have different words to describe the intricate relationships China has with its provinces. So there are 33 provinces in China total, and that's what we would call Greater China. That means all of China, including Hong Kong and Macau. But if you're in Hong Kong, one will often refer to China as the mainland or the PRC. It's really important to ask questions. Are you including mainland China? Are you including Macau? Do you mean also Taiwan? Is this Shanghai and Beijing only? Two cities are of most importance, and one, of course, is Hong Kong. It's outside the mainland, but it's always been influential because it's seen as a city that is trendy, is up to date on fashion, on food trends, on music. And so mainland Chinese still look to Hong Kong, perhaps as though it's the New York of China. We are now ready to take a look at some of the lesser known regions and lesser known wine styles. And then there's Shanghai. Shanghai is hip and trendy and fast changing. And so I think you could possibly say this is a little bit more like the Los Angeles of China. Beijing's more conservative, a more classic region, and also has a very wonderful lifestyle, but less trend-setting. And then lastly, you might think about Guangzhou, Canton areas, which are more aligned with Hong Kong. Also, don't forget about Macau, where casinos buy in larger volumes. And then if I could mention one other market that's quite often overlooked, that would be Taiwan. Taipei has a booming wine scene and many mature wine drinkers who are being ignored a little bit in the mad rush to get to Shanghai and Beijing. Something unique about the Hong Kong market is our high percentage of direct sales. That means importers selling directly to consumers. And in fact, our direct sales comprises 37% of the market. So retail isn't as prominent as one would expect in our markets. We also don't have that habit of stopping by the store on the way home for dinner. Many people are intensely curious about food and wine pairing for all the Asian cuisines, but to be quite honest, although it interests me as well, it doesn't actually interest the average drinker. And there is no simple solution for food and wine pairing in Asia because the ingredients on the table are so diverse. Where Italian wine has particular strength is, of course, in the Italian restaurants. And the good news for Italy is Asians love Italian food. There's much about the food that's very attractive and comfortable and familiar to the culture, such as the pastas, the rice, the use of many fresh vegetables. Italy's biggest challenge is its biggest strength. You know, for a wine lover, Italy is fascinating because there's so much to know. Even in judging and working with this Radici del Sud show, I've learned so much and been introduced to so many new varieties. And so that's a challenge for an emerging market. So I guess my advice would be, as a producer, try to keep your label as simple as possible, your information as simple as possible, because for my part of the world, we only know 2 or 3 Italian regions. So it's best to use words like Southern Italy for now. Later we can get into the detail. One attractive feature of the Chinese market is they really understand origin. It's a concept very easily understood and one that we can emphasize. This is a top region. So if you are a small winery, I would really emphasize your history, your devotion to perfection, your passion for high quality wine. In China, there's an interesting phenomenon in that women in particular feel wine is good for their skin. So many of them will drink a small glass of wine at night before going to bed. But I secretly think it's just good for the marriage. With Chinese dining, we love to toast. And we have many, many courses of food appearing at the table. And we always have a table conversation, a round table of about 10 people. So when a new course of food comes to the table, it's really common for us to say cheers or great to see you, and change the tone and change the conversation for the table. So I've always secretly thought it would be great fun to create a branded toast, something that can position a region or a producer well. And I suppose because I love Italian wine, I would come up with some rhymes such as, if you drink Italian, you will have lots of friends.